lion's share. It's the lion's share. It's the lion's share. It's the lion's share.
Welcome back. Welcome into the Lion's Share. Following the Chiefs game on Sunday Night Football in prime times, the Lions could not make it 5 straight. They fall to the Kansas City Chiefs. And as Andrew would like to say, they go down, but they come up swinging. Or I think I might have mixed that up, but we'll get to him in just a moment. Lions do lose though, 30-17. But wow, there was a lot to unpack from this game, including the fact that the Chiefs did not have a single penalty called on them. The fact that Mahomes is now 5-1 under Craig Rolsted's crew, and a million other things to talk about from this game, including the fact that the Lions did not play well enough to get the dub, but also the fact that this game was not called fairly in our eyes, and I think in a lot of people's eyes, in a big moment. But also, we got to talk about BB and his antics after the game, and himself earning a 1-game suspension, although news today that he's appealing it. So we'll see. He may or may not miss that Bucs game coming up on Monday Night Football. But a lot packed into this show, and shout out to Mitch, not with us tonight, bringing a new one into this world. So congratulations. And now he has officially entered into paternity leave. So we'll have him back in a couple weeks, and you'll hear from him. We'll pass along what he's passed to us. So anyway, without further ado, Andrew, this kind of sucks. We've had 4 straight victory podcasts to take in, and now here we are, just like week 1, coming in with a loss.
Victory Mondays are always a little bit better. I have learned from the Green Bay loss, though. We're not gonna look into this one a little too much. We all saw the nation saw in prime time there the shenanigans that were going on, and typically Lions red meat eaters, just like Taylor Swift. Not Sunday night though.
No, it's tough. Man, it was. I wasn't super fired up about this game coming into it, as far as like having visceral hate for the Chiefs. Don't like the Chiefs, but man, I didn't think I could hate the Chiefs more. But after last night, man, all-time high for me. I don't know where you're standing.
Yeah. Can we say the F word on this show? No. We'll keep it a little PG-13 for the
We save
new
those
one
usually
here.
for closing time later on.
Fair enough. I don't think red was never my color. I'm never going to be touching that for at least 2 weeks, at minimum 2 weeks. No more red in this household. Pat Mahomes could shove it. He sucks. Travis Kelce, loser. Juju, bleeding red blood. You suck. 76 of the offensive line. Little D syndrome is all I'm going to say on that. He was coming in late on a bunch of plays. Didn't see anything there. Yeah, there's a lot of hate over here. The BP got rising on that game, and I'm over it. I think I'm over it at this point. Like I said, we saw the shenanigans that were on the field, and you texted it to me. I'll let you say your piece about it. It's in the notes for later on, but hopefully this changes things going down the road.
Yeah, that's my hope too. I think we'd be singing a different tune if we were recording this last night or even this morning. I think honestly it hit me harder this morning than last night. I think last night I was more kind of just numb to it, for lack of a better term. It got so exhausting. If it came down to like the Cowboys game a couple years ago, I didn't sleep that night. That's how fired up I was about that, because that call was in such a pivotal moment. I think if the Jared Goff moment that happened so early in the game had happened at the end, I would have been seeing red at the end of the game. And now I was upset, but not as upset as one Brian Branch.
Yeah, well, the annoying part is that it was all game long. Like, there was never a
death by 1,000 cuts.
We're getting hosed over right now. We'll take it back to the Seattle batting out of the back of the end zone. That one was pretty bad too. It was in the moment. Riddle me this though: have you ever seen a flag be reviewed?
Can't do it according to the rule book.
I've never once seen. I get that all touchdowns are reviewed, I didn't know you review them for penalties, though.
Now, did you see how many minutes it took them, or how long it took them to make that, to actually throw the flag on that play? Did you see that?
I don't know if I noticed it on that one because I don't know. I honestly don't know if I even saw a flag come out on that one. I know how long it took for the Rock Ya-Sin DPI one to come out. It took all of Travis turning around and walking up to the ref. He was all but Des Bryant without a helmet off, asking for that flag, and then it came out. So I don't know. Maybe he got tucked down in his pants where Patrick left it earlier in the game, and he just couldn't get it back out of there. I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. You're bringing the BP back up for me. This is going to be a wild show.
I do apologize for that. I think we'll have a nice little therapy session here in the beginning, and then we'll ease it our way back into things here because you're bringing mine up as well with all these. The Seattle game really hit that one on Monday night years ago, many moons ago. That one, oof, man, dark times for all of us, but myself included. That was a really hard time.
A classic suck job by the refs there. But like once again, I mean, I can't remember what year it was that these refs became full-time officials, but that was always the big complaint. Look, they're just part-time employees. They don't work year-round. God forbid they're actually lawyers in their time off, so they make enough cash and not actually work full-time. But now they're full-time. They make plenty of money to do it, and still suck job. I don't know what's going on.
No one knows. But I think consensus is out there that this game was not officiated equally. Now, we're not going to sit here and complain all hour, 45 minutes, whatever we do here. We're not going to do that.
Can I get a couple more in?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But,
okay.
you know.
Well, the BB fight. Clock was still... There was time on the clock still. You know what the ref said? Peace out. This ain't my job. See you guys later. I'm off the clock, but I'm on the clock. See you guys later. You can settle it out yourself.
I did see something about this on Twitter. Once the clock hits 0, the ref's job is complete, and so then it becomes a security concern or security. So then it's the police or whatever stadium security. Then it's their problem, I guess. I didn't know that.
There was still time on the clock though.
Is that right? Because it happened as
Mahomes took the
final kneel,
and there was like
I had the game off.
Seconds was still running.
I turned the game off.
And then that's when BB walked over, and the refs were already jogging off the field with about 15 seconds left on the clock. It was kind of pathetic. But I'm going to bring it back up. I think I said it earlier this year. If Jared Goff has to answer the questions, if Brian Branch has to answer the questions, if Dan Campbell has to answer these questions, the refs should absolutely be held accountable and just get interviewed after the game. Answer a couple questions. Hell, we got the sideline reporter. What is it, Trisha Tafoya or whoever the hell it is? I don't know. Whatever chick they put down there that week.
Melissa Starks?
Sure. Start asking some questions these losers as they're running off the field. I've seen you jog off the field with coaches asking questions. You could do it with refs too. They're just wearing different stripes.
So I didn't realize that. I don't know if every crew or if it's the primetime crews. I don't know how this works, but they do a closed pool. So they did ask Craig Rolstead a series of questions, specifically, obviously, about most of them were surrounding the Jared Goff touchdown controversy. And so there was explained, which I'm sure everybody's seen at this point, that because he lined up under center and the T formation, even though it's not a T formation, that's where I'm confused about that, because as long as you're not running forward, you can't run forward and not be set, right? Because you can't, guys could go in motion and be running forward and have total momentum. So he's running, you either have to run lateral or behind or in that direction, right? And you don't have to get set. You don't have to stop, right? However, he has to stop because he's in a T formation, even though the Lions weren't in a T formation. That's where it gets confusing. And the biggest thing is what I was getting at earlier, Andrew, was a minute and 14 seconds is how long it took them to throw that flag. Which which doesn't sound like a long time, but in the grand scheme, that's a really long time in a football game.
Yeah, how long did it take for that Sky judge to rule Travis Kelce catch a catch? 0.4?
Honestly, I don't understand that one either, because I think most people would say that, like, Look, I could take it or leave it on that one. If that's the only call from that game that we're upset about, I'm like, whatever, it could go either way, 50-50. However, on top of everything, like you were saying, it was all those moments. If it were just one of these, we probably wouldn't be upset. It's the compound of it all. But you know what? Controlled fury. That's what we're going to bring out of this, and that's what Dan has got to preach to the guys. I'm sure that he's told them, don't feel sorry for yourselves. That's not what he's about. However, I do wonder, those conversations that Dan has at home with Holly, Miss Campbell herself. I would love to know, like, be a fly on the wall about what he really says about that in the Campbell household.
Yeah, I don't think those words are ever going to leave that household. I think that's a sealed vault.
You know what's sad about you touched on the victory Monday. Famously, the Lions always, well, not the Lions, but Dan and his wife always, and the dogs, of course, can't forget the dogs. They always go to Starbucks after a win. And she had to, when they don't win, they don't do that. So they order in Starbucks when it's a loss. And so that was sad to see her post this morning of the doorstep with the Starbucks bag, and just, I can't remember what it said, but she had a caption on it. It was just like, damn, 4 straight wins gone. But I mean, Andrew, think back to the Chiefs game years ago when they didn't have Kelsey, right? They didn't have Kelsey. They didn't have Chris Jones, right, in that one? Or did he end up playing? I can't recall now.
No.
But
in the first game of the season, the sad boy was fighting about money like he usually does.
So, much could be made about the Lions' injuries in this one. Obviously, secondary depleted, and offensive line that is not at full strength either. A unit that, how many times have we come on here and spoke about the offensive line has 1 or 2 pieces missing? And so, all in all, I was happy with what the Lions did. I thought they played all right, but certainly not up to the caliber that we would expect. And, throw the refs on top of that, and you have what you have, a 30-17 loss.
I was trying to show you the BP's rising so high. I'm sweating in the studio here.
I wasn't sure if that was a clown reference. Speaking of which, folks, if you want to watch us, we're available on YouTube. Every episode is, and so is Spotify.
Bears
Also has
got a turnover.
I don't like to hear that.
Yeah, they're up 3-0.
And what about that Bills game?
I transferred away from that one. Oh, it was a it was an interception. Jaden Daniels. It's on me.
Still got a 21-7 Falcons at the 2-minute warning.
I will ask an important question from
yes, please.
Sunday night, though. What are they putting in Kirby Joseph's knee?
This is a good question because he looked like he couldn't walk, and then all of a sudden he was sprinting down the sidelines. I didn't know what that was all about, and I thought maybe they took him back to the locker room, but I'm under the understanding that was just a blue tent visit and in and out, boom, bang.
Yeah, I feel like I need whatever he got most Monday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody across America could use whatever he got every single Monday morning.
Yep, little bump. And what do you think about with obviously if BB's out, then you got Kirby, him on him as well. But do you think they sit him down for a week against the Bucs and give him the bye, give him kind of a 2-week bye?
That would be the Dan Campbell MO. I mean, that's what it seems like, because I'm shocked we haven't seen Aleem. That's, I think, more shocking than anything, but that'd be the MO, is we'd rather sit him for a week or two than lose him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I really hoped that Aleem was going to play in this one, and he practiced all week. It felt like he was ready. It seemed like
he was ready. He said he was 100%. He said it wasn't his call, though.
And it's confusing, too, because... well, now you kind of wonder if the bye is following this week coming up against the Bucs. Do you send him out there 1 week before the bye? Is it even, or do you give him the bye? I don't know. Maybe you give him a ramp game with the Bucs, but that doesn't seem like a ramp game to me. And I talked about if he did play against the Chiefs, he was probably on a pitch count 20, 25 snaps is what I saw.
I thought it was the perfect opportunity like you did. Still shocked that he didn't make it. The only thing I could think of is that because of all the offensive line injuries, is that it was a 53-man roster issue.
That could be, and the secondary as well, bringing a lot of guys up to provide some depth there too. That could be, that bodies were needed more in other places, and they, like we said, Tyleek and Reeder are in the middle of that offensive line, and then you got Roy Lopez as well, and Lacey too playing meaningful snaps. There's a lot of guys in those positions, and it's certainly not a position where they lack depth. So for those reasons, it makes sense. But we hope to see Aleem at least certainly by the end of or at the end of the bye with Week 9 against the Vikings. You got to expect. I wanted to circle back to Brian Branch. I meant to bring this up when we were talking about his suspension. Do you think, Andrew, if this game would have been a 1:00 game, do you think they would? Because I think that's what played a lot into this. And this isn't just my thoughts. I think it's Jeremy Reisman, Lions beat writer. You see him a lot on Twitter talking Lions news. He mentioned this too, is you got to wonder if this were buried in a 1:00 window, if it would have even garnered the attention and then thus garnered the suspension. Because I think that's honestly the blow up of it all, especially right at the end of the game. Everybody's still, highly engaged with the game, and it's the only game on. So all eyes are on it.
Yeah, I still think a fight where Juju was bleeding. I especially that optic and that picture, which was objectively hilarious to watch him just get bodied one-handed. Embarrassing on his part. But for those optics come out, I think you're right. Sunday night probably played a big factor, but it's still the Chiefs and the Lions, two premier teams at this point in the league. So I think he was going to get some attention regardless. If it was a 1:00 window, I think it's going to be your premier 1:00 window game, right? And that's going to be the game that everybody's watching anyway. So no, I don't think so. I mean, fighting's fighting. Probably going to get suspended regardless. I have no qualms about the suspension. I'm shocked it wasn't 2, but
see, I don't see it. I don't see it that way. I thought 1 was. I honestly didn't think he would get suspended. I didn't.
That feels crazy to think.
I mean, maybe I'm downplaying it. I don't know. It just didn't seem like it warranted that. Obviously, it's stupid. Like, I'm not condoning it. I'm also not going to condone the fact that Juju got away with a block in the back that I think, rightfully so. He has a right to be upset about that. It's a play that you see called a penalty 9 times out of 10. So
especially when the ref runs in, so he's clearly watching what happened.
Clearly happened right. I mean, at the point of it's just
it was the second Brian Branch got up, the ref came in to stop them from jawing at each other. It's like, so you watched this the entire time, but wasn't a penalty in your eyes? All right, cool.
I was so upset about the I believe it was Chris Jones that was lined up clearly in the neutral zone. I mean, tell me he's not on the Jared Goff touchdown. He's in the neutral zone.
You won't hear
telling me you had all that time to talk about the illegal formation, the illegal motion, but not the fact that Chris Jones' paw is over the ball?
Well, here's the issue. If you review a play and go back and try to find every issue, you're going to find every issue. Hell, here's an idea. We haven't done this on a single tush push where they jump off sides. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, the inconsistency of it all is just, it's frustrating. But again, we're not gonna spend this whole episode, but I keep saying that, and here we are. It's hard to not point it out. How about we transition to Mitch's thoughts, which were this, blaming the game on the refs is loser talk. But it's okay to say that the game wasn't called equally and it had an impact. Lions still got beat. I think he summed it up pretty well. It was not called equally, and it did impact the score, the game in a lot of capacity. But the Lions also didn't play the ball that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean,
All those things can be true.
100%. There was a lot of failures, right? Offensively, have you ever seen Amon-Ra drop a fourth down pass? Never have I ever seen that. There was one of them. I thought Jackie Campbell probably had his worst game of the 2025 football season, which was crazy. He got cooked a lot by slow wheels Travis Kelce. Wasn't in position. Felt like Anzalone was non-existent out there at times. So the defense didn't play to where they needed to be. Granted, they're playing with an entirely backup secondary, but I don't think the defense is where it needed to be. I'm surprised the Chiefs only put up 30.
Yeah, when they were up, was it 20-17? It felt like they were up 30-17 when it was 2017. Honestly, it never felt like a 3-point game at that point, the way the trajectory of that game was going. But you're right. I noticed that about Jack Campbell. I thought he started off pretty decent, and he just really kind of hit a decline real hard. And that was kind of the story, I guess, of the day for the Lions. Is pretty hot start and fizzled from there. But Jack Campbell was on, I'm sure, a Pro Bowl pace for this season, and bad time to have a bad game.
Yeah, it looked like he was just in the wrong spot a lot. Got caught looking in the backfield a lot. Wasn't watching his cues. So it's hard to say. Bears just kicked another field goal, make it 6-0. But hard to say. I don't know what the game plan was. I think I heard him in his post-game media was that he really wasn't happy with himself. Guys weren't where they needed to be. A lot of miscommunications on the D, and he wears that on his shoulders. So hopefully, once again, I'm going to let you say it, but hopefully this drives them forward.
What are you wanting me to say? Is it the beast? Is it the beast line? Oh, okay. Let me hit him with the beast line. This is my final thoughts on the day. Like, this is what I wrote, I think, last night right before bed, or maybe this morning. Anyway, I said, I think the beast has been awoken inside the heat. The heart. That meant to. You can tell it was early or late. I meant to say the heart of the lion. And Mitch echoed this. He came into the comments and said, "This is what I came here to say. This is the one that sets the rest of the season into motion." Controlled fury. Kind of remember that from the post Dallas game. Again, I don't think it has the same feeling as the Dallas game, because that Dallas one was like a true wronging in a moment that controlled the game outcome. And this one was controlled too, like we said, but it was controlled over the whole game in smaller pieces. And that one against Dallas was one large piece, and it was very much Detroit versus everybody. I think this is going to have that same kind of feel, though, and it's a really good point in the season, I think, for it to happen. All the time when you look back at seasons, you look at games and you look at everything in kind of pieces and quarters almost, right? We're in the second quarter of the season right now, as it is, and this is where you really learn about teams, and this is where the turning points of the season happen. And this is where we look back in February and go, man, remember that team week 6 and what they did from then on out? And it could be week 8, could be week 10, but there's always a point in the season when you see a Super Bowl champion team where you look back at the story that they built along the year. And I think this is a big chapter, a big story in this. And I don't think that locker room is feeling sorry for themselves. I know that you're sitting at 4-2, top of the NFC North. The world's not falling. You're in a big stretch of your season right now. The hardest part, like Tirico said, this is an incredible stretch. You got the Bucs again next week, a hot team, but very banged up. And then you've got the bye week. And then you got the Vikings, Commanders, and the Eagles all in a row, which is an absolute gauntlet on a season that has a ton of tough opponents. This is the hardest part right here. But like I said at the preview of this season, I really thought after the bye is when they turn it on. Calvin Shepard and that defense really starts to grow, and I still think that happens. I do think maybe it gets a little bit delayed with all these injuries, and maybe it's more like week 10 that things turn on, not so much week 9 after the bye, or week 11, I guess maybe. Anyway, I still stand by my prediction, which was 8 out of 10 wins out of the bye. I still think that's doable, and I think that's what this team's going to hang their hat on. And these moments, these games, these tough losses, especially in the way that they lost, it's going to shape the rest of the season. It's going to be a big building block, I think.
Yeah, and we were texting about it. I think you said that the Chiefs weren't capable of making it to the Super Bowl. I don't want to put words.
They're
in your
not. I stand by that. They're not. I still feel that way. That was a heat of the moment comment, and I was angry and I was emotional.
Okay, your words.
But I still
not
don't
mine.
think they're capable.
I want them to make it to the Super Bowl just for the sheer beatdown that would occur if the Lions also made it there. I mean, that would be a great. Here, NFL, you're here for the media. You're here for the storyline. Set it up. Set it up, buddy. Let them play again. I want to see Juju against BB in that game.
It would be, yeah, I mean, for all those reasons, yes, I hope that happens too. And honestly, like the parody of the NFL that we were talking about, Eagles seemingly were on another level, and now look at them now, and it's just kind of the ebbs and flows of the season. So, hell, Chiefs could totally make the Super Bowl based on what I'm seeing out there right now, especially with the Bills. Bills are down 21-7 right now to the Falcons. I mean, I really don't think there's a team out there that's leaps and bounds above everybody else. Do you?
No, there's no classic debate where you've got a team. Would this team even beat the best college football team out there? It's like all-time dumb argument, but absolutely not this year. I mean, your point with the 21-7 Bills game now, they were losing, I believe, most of the game to the Saints.
I can't remember if they were losing or if it was close, though. Close.
It was just
throughout.
like a one-score game pretty much the entire time. They were struggling to pull away from the Saints, and the Saints looked good in that game. So, yeah, absolute, what is the word, parity in the NFL at this point. Any team can go out there. It's the true any given Sunday or Thursday or Monday or Wednesday if it's Christmas.
Yeah. Or Tuesday if it's New Year's Eve. No, I don't think there's any Tuesday
Pretty
games
much
this
any
year.
day of the week.
Friday if it's the beginning of the season before high school football starts, because once high school football starts, there's that 1963 Public Broadcasting Act that says you can't have high school football and NFL on at the same time.
Who
It's
could
kind of
forget
crazy. Look it up. Andrew, would you have ever guessed that coming into this season, would you have guessed that the two top teams would be the Bucs 5-1 and the Colts 5-1?
I could believe you on the Bucs. The Colts are another story, but just to touch back on the Bucs, I think Baker Mayfield's my favorite quarterback in the NFL. I love watching.
I won't tell Jared.
I love watching that man play football. I'm sorry, but if I was picking a roster, that's my quarterback.
You building a roster. And I should mention, too, the Bills are 4-1, but currently in action against the Falcons. So we don't know if they're 5-1 or 4-2 at this point in the season. But the Eagles 4-2. I mean, like off the top of your head, who would you say is the best team in the NFL? Put the records out of the picture. Just who's the best team out there right now?
Honestly, the Colts look so good. They struggled against the Cards a little bit, but they got the dub. The Colts look magnificent. I wouldn't say. I would honestly say the Buccaneers.
Most complete, I think, the Bucs.
They're doing it without their wide receivers. They've had linemen that are hurt as well. They find a way to win games. Baker is absolutely scrappy and has an absolute cannon of an arm. And I know it might sound like a weird one. I think the Chargers are much better in their record as well.
Chargers at 4-2 with a really shaky, tough, grinded out win against a 1-5 Dolphins team, but to your point, still 4-2. All things considering on the injuries and everything they've had to go through this season.
And if I had to throw out one more wild card, I think the Seahawks are a better team than people think as well.
Once is very, very much kind of similar vibes to the Chargers. Like you're not going to see the Seahawks winning 38-10. Like regardless of who they're playing, they're probably within a score or two on every game. Like they beat the Jags 20-12. Very much a low scoring. You're not going to light it up with Sam Darnold as your quarterback, but you're going to grind out a lot of wins. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that division because the Rams are really good too. I would put the Rams definitely top 5. I know they're 4-2, and I know there's some question marks about the Rams, but I think at the end of the day, they could beat anybody in the NFL. That's
Yeah,
just what I'm thinking about. And I think the Lions, like, don't forget about the Lions. Regardless of the records that these teams have,
this isn't a bias show.
this is not a bias. It's definitely not biased to any team.
Forget the name.
It's just the share. It's the Lions part is silent.
Yes. End of first quarter in the Bears game, and they are knocking at the door, putting 7 on the board here. This could get.
They're not gonna go. They're not gonna go for the turkey. Hit another field goal.
They're inside the 5. Fresh set of downs.
Is this Bills Falcons game ever gonna go to halftime? I feel like it's been under a minute for maybe 10 minutes.
I mean, there's no way there's a DeMar Hamlin incident. He's out.
No. Can't have that. Can't have that in a dome either. Are they in Atlanta? I think they're in Atlanta. Yeah, they are. What else? What else we got? I think I had some shareholders reach out to me to say that they were irate about the game last night. I think everybody's kind of feeling that way. Just a gross feeling in your mouth, honestly. Just after that one, it's not something that we've seen a lot. Dan Campbell, 12-2 coming into this game in primetime, one of the best primetime coaches in the league, and it just didn't go the way I think a lot of people expected it, and it had a story that we wouldn't expect. But biggest thing for me, biggest takeaways: 0 penalties on the Chiefs on a team that had 13 against the Jaguars. Big question mark there. And Mitch put in the notes here: Chiefs were averaging 8.4 penalties a game before last night. So put that in perspective. I mean, water is going to find its level, but not to that extent. Not to that extreme, I should say.
Hey, man, I've seen several videos out there with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes kissing refs, and in no way was that AI.
None. And not the video that you sent me either where Travis Kelce was doing tap to pay on the Apple Cash transactions. No, that was real.
That's live.
That was the game was still going on at that point. But I think a big thing for me was 98 yards on the ground. When's the last time the Lions didn't have over 100? I'm thinking it hasn't been in years, and it certainly hasn't been. I don't know that I could remember the last time the Lions won a game where they had under 100 yards rushing. They've had games under 100, but they haven't won any of them. So honestly, that was a big part of it, and they were running the ball well in the first half. They just kind of got away from it, and once they got down and were having to look to pass, just wasn't going to work.
I mean, I know at least on 2 occasions, too, Monty was a shirt tear away from having nobody behind him. I'm not going to say he's going to run away from it because we've seen him get caught from behind a few times, but he was going to get darn close. So that was crazy. Wanted to see Monty going a little more. And honestly, it always feels shocking when Gibbs doesn't find the end zone as well.
Yeah, he's almost good for them every single week.
Bears touchdown. Caleb Williams runs it in.
Boo. Tommy, cut that. Cut all of that. We don't care about that. We don't support the Bears. The biggest tragedy of last night too was we had a nice run of turnovers for that defense. We were knocking them down. We had 9 coming into this game, down to 23 needed for our goal of 32, Andrew. And so this one hurts us in more ways than one. We got a big fat donut last night. No turnovers. We're still at 23.
I mean, Aiden was trying. For sure.
That one was close.
I honestly, I couldn't see the ball. So I wasn't sure where it was. I was hoping we had a chance at it. Mahomes jumped on it, which sucked, but yeah, I felt like Aiden was the only one that was alive on the defense there for a while. Rock Yassin got pulverized like he was in a rock crushing factory there. Aiden letting out that frustration on the roughing the passer, and oh my God, the crybaby face by Mahomes was so pathetic.
That one was so late, though. I honestly thought at the time, live, I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And I thought maybe the way Mahomes kind of threw that, like almost hesitated, you almost felt like he was going to do a pump fake. And I thought maybe that's what he saw, but I think I don't know. That was late.
It was late. It was letting out some frustration, but I don't have a problem with that. I mean, absolutely zero problem. Let them know you're there.
Yep. At that point in the game, that's the right way to do it. The wrong way to do it is to open hand slap Juju Smith-Schuster, BB, But, honestly, I don't have that big of a gripe with that one either. It's just, it's it's growing concerning with BB. And honestly, that was going to be my dicey segment. Is he's not like an and he's not on like Sue level. He's not that much of a bonehead out there. But I think back to the conversation that we had a couple weeks ago about who can we keep on these teams as far as the paychecks go. Not going to be able to keep everybody from this core team, and who's going to be the odd ones left out. And I can't remember if we did this on air or off air, but I had said that Mitch was like, "Where do you think BB would go if he's not resigned?" And I think we all kind of feel like he might be the odd man out. And I was thinking the Texans would be a perfect home for BB.
Yeah, honestly, it really sucks. You'd hate to see him because he's a dog and he can play all over the field, and he's like a Tyrann Mathieu. He's got a nose for the football. But yeah, when it comes down to sheer numbers, unless he's willing to take pennies, but I mean, my God, he's got to be broke at this point with all the fines he's accumulated. He's gonna have a game with no pay here. Um, he looks like he belongs in the black hole.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely could see that. I'm thinking like a Southern team. He screams South. I mean, he went to Bama, so maybe I'm just thinking of that connection. But you're right. This the game paycheck that he's going to miss out on if this appeal does get upheld, or if the suspension gets upheld, $76,000.
Well, did you look into the appeal as well? Like, it's not like he's gonna appeal the suspension. He's just gonna try to push it off further into the season.
I'm not sure. I think he's appealing the. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Obviously, we've seen that in the past. If he appeals it and they don't get back to it this week, it would be week 9 against the Vikings. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. See, I don't know. Truthfully, I think he's trying to appeal it, but I guess it's a tricky one to win an appeal on because it is a game. If you are appealing a 4-game suspension, you might get it moved down to 3.
Sure.
What are you going to do here? Are they going to
down to a quarter?
Yeah, right. That's what I was like. First half against the Bucs, you got to miss the first half. Like, I don't see him winning. However, stranger things have happened. But yeah, I all that to say is he's not doing himself any favors with Dan in the front office, and he's probably earning himself a way out. And there will be a team that will pay him the big bucks, and I think he's not going to take a hometown discount. I don't think he's that type of guy.
Absolutely not. I can tell you he won't play for Green Bay though.
Don't say these things out loud. Don't.
I don't think there's enough money that Green Bay can give him to make him want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, they've got it too much roped up in Micah as it is, so I don't think they can afford him. But
yeah, your all-time sack leader, Micah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, did you have a nicey or dicey? No, skip.
Yeah, what do you want me to say about this one?
All right, well, let's do BAM Player of the Weeks, or BAM Player of the Week. Man, I thought Laporta played really well. That he was the one kind of shining star on both sides of the ball that played the most consistent. There were a lot of guys that had good moments, but a lot of bad moments too. A lot of inconsistent play from the Lions yesterday that we're not used to seeing.
Yeah.
A la Amon-Ra dropping ball on 4th down, like you mentioned, and a few others. But I thought Laporta came to play. He was ready right out the gate and was consistent all game long in all of his facets.
Consummate pro. Even the no-call DPI can't stop him from getting in the end zone. I will say he has got a patented lower the shoulder, roll over the top of somebody, though.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. I don't even know how to describe it or what the move to call it, but if you see him drop the shoulder, you're going to expect him to roll over the top and get a couple more yards on it. Even if nobody makes contact with him, he's going to make that motion. He did it on his touchdown. He did it last night. So, he had a great grab. I think that's a great BAM Player of the Week. I got a couple here. First one goes to that blue medical tent. Whatever they gave Kirby is something else. Like I said, I could use some of that myself. The other one is Juju Thank you, dude. That could be my new screensaver. You just getting your face bashed in, laying on the ground with blood coming out of your nose. Weak sauce, boy.
Nice. And Mitch, from the outside world, he didn't have anything. So that's your choices then, shareholders. What's that?
We need an M and an S this week.
We just got a BA. We used to call it the BA Player of the Week, didn't we?
We did at one time.
The BA of the Week.
Then the Fort Wayne man joined us.
Good times, and even better times with Mitch to fill out that M. Well, shareholders, you can vote down below on Spotify in the poll for your BAM's Player of the Week. You guys are the S in that. Last thing about Laporta, that rollover. Do you think he's doing that to kind of protect the legs a little bit? Trying to
protect the legs. He keeps the ball in the opposite hand as well.
Mhm.
It's the non-leading hand, so you're not going to cause a fumble. You're going to get on the ground if you roll forward. Like I said, it's just like falling forward as a running back as opposed to falling backwards. You get a couple extra yards out of it. I think he should not stop what he's doing there.
No, it's a thing of beauty, and everybody's got to have something. So, all right, last honorable mention for BAMS was the Honolulu Blue that showed out in Arrowhead, because that's a hostile environment, and Chiefs fans are probably some of the worst. And maybe I'm just being emotional in the moment here, but I'm just really sick of the Chiefs, really sick of their fans as well, sick of Taylor Swift, sick of Travis Kelce, just fatigued about all of it, and I can't wait for them to lose in the playoffs. So, but shout out to the Honolulu Blue faithful that were out and about. A lot of people filling up the lower bowl. Honestly, I saw a lot more blue in the lower bowl than anywhere else in the stadium, and it was great to see that in a hostile environment. So shout out to them. It was good. Let's go to the halftime capsules before we give you some final thoughts on Lions here, and then talk about the NFL.
Well, here we are, shareholders. Halftime, Sunday Night Football. Ben with some high-level analysis. 0 called penalties on the Chiefs in the first half here. Several misholdings, but whatever. This is classic. Screw the Lions. This is classic. We're used to it at this point. This is a Dan Campbell fight your way through the bullshit. Pardon my French, PG-13. Get the earmuffs on for this one. Can't wait to hear what Mitchell has to say about the no taunting call there in the end zone.
Oof.
Offense is humming pretty good. Would have been nice to have that catch by Amon-Ra, keep some points on the board. Offense, keep doing what you're doing. Defense just has to get a stop here and there. Working on getting a turnover. Got really close with Hutch. If we can get a turnover and get points off of it, I think you're right back in it. Need to come out of this half and get a stop, though. Cannot let them put points on the board coming out of half. Let's go, Lions.
Preach.
None of those things came true.
Speech. But it sounded a lot like mine, in which you'll hear in just a minute, but also like Dan. He's like, we're 3 plays away. And that's what it was. It was all these like little moments that just didn't go the Lions' way. Every bounce, every call went to the Chiefs, and it's hard to win on the road when that happens.
Yeah, and hand up, that was my third take on that, and I almost had to redo it for the 4th time and still felt wrong.
Oh, I thought we were doing no do-overs on those.
Oh, then that was my first take for sure.
Oh, yeah, totally. Looks like we're in for a classic Lions primetime game. And by classic, I mean it's going to be against the refs as well. Haven't seen that in a long time. Only 10 points on the board for the Lions at the half. Also, haven't seen that in a long time. But I think it's going okay. I think the offense has established something up front, and they need to get back to it. Go back to Laporta some more and get back to J-Mo as well. But the run game has looked really solid. Problem is the Lions don't get the ball out of the half. The Chiefs do. So, what do we got to do here? Everybody knows what we got to do. We're going to have to get a stop, and dare I say, we may need to get a turnover here. I think the Lions can win this game without getting a turnover, but I think a huge moment would be a turnover here out of the half, and perhaps the spark plug turning point that we need, because it's a little slow now. We're kind of in that midpoint where these Lions are kind of lulling us to sleep. Need some fireworks in the second half. Got to grind it out type of game. Things are working, though. Just got to be a little sharper in a lot of places. in a few places. Let's go Lions. I mean, not going to toot my own horn, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I'll echo what you said. None of those things came true.
None of those things came true, but there is one thing I did forget about the game, and maybe you can back me up on it. Is Harrison Butker in hot water?
Certainly not cold. It's lukewarm, I think.
I mean, when's the last time you've seen an extra point miss that wasn't backed up?
It's been a while, but it happens more than I think we tend to remember.
Okay. I mean, fair enough, but he's missed, I think, at least one kick in every single game. That can't be good for a kicker, right?
No, he's teetering. The leash is not long on kickers. We've seen kickers get cut for less. So
I speak for women everywhere. Get that guy out of here.
Get him out of here, Harrison. He's got I'm sure he's got books and speeches to write. So he's too focused on that. His post career. Yup. Him and Mark Sanchez will probably write a book together. Keeping you informed. Shout out to the YouTube. If you're not watching, go over to the YouTube right now. You're not going to want to miss what's going on right now. Anyway, we're both hacking it up right now. Keeping you informed segment, of course, the Lions and the Bucs in Week 7 will be the early Monday night game on ESPN and ABC. You can get it on either one of those. 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a little earlier than our usual in a Monday night game when they've got the doubleheader. So it'll be the main one. It'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern. And we'll preview that on Walkthrough Wednesday, which will be the next episode, which we'll all catch you shareholders on. Now, it's not the end of the show. Contrary to popular belief, we're going to talk about the NFL real quick, which sad to report that the Jets are continuing to be on 0-17 watch. But damn, were they close in London. I thought this was going to be the one.
It is, and I mean, and what we all said, Mitch included, don't get in a rush to put your coach in the hot seat. You're just going to make it tougher on everybody. But boy, that was quite a head scratcher at the end of half, don't you think?
That was bad. There were a couple ones, but that one was most glaring.
Why would you fake a punt to then not take an opportunity out?
I don't know.
I just
Jet lag.
Don't get that.
Jet lag. I don't know. That was curious. And I didn't see what he said to the media afterwards, but I'd like to know.
Yeah, and I mean that's where you start losing the locker room. And
yeah, he's on skates right now, but I think the only thing that we're missing right now is one more loss and then a cry. Really bring it all in. Really bring out all the Dan Campbell cards.
We need some actual tears that'll re-rally the troops, and they're gonna want to win for him.
You know, you've been on me, or I've been on you about this, that we're gonna get it. The cry is coming from AG soon, and I've been saying, you keep asking me when is it gonna happen. I kept telling you, whoa, it's not time yet. It's officially Aaron Glenn is on cry watch, and we're probably 1-2 maximum of 3 weeks. Or 3 losses away from it. It's coming, folks. I guarantee it.
We're deep enough in as well that you know darn well that first win, he's getting a game ball.
Oh, he's going shirt. Tarps are going off in that locker room. We are going to see Aaron Glenn. I mean, we saw him when they with that kick return, punt return against the Bucs when they snuck back into that game. I think it was the Bucs game when he did his. I mean, he is an electric figure and he's doing that in a losing effort. So can only imagine what he'd bring out in a win. Last thing about the Jets is Tanner Engstrand is on Aaron Glenn, I think, is okay, but Tanner Engstrand is on a major hot seat, I should say. And a lot of people thought he could be the Lions offensive coordinator. He was the Lions quarterbacks coach or passing game coordinator, I think, as it were. Boy, I think the Lions dodged a bullet and got the right guy with Johnny Moe.
I think you're right, but I think there's a lot of hot seats out there, especially after this week. We're getting into that point of the season. Dolphins not looking good. Cards not looking good. Titans just let Callahan go. There's a lot of coaches. I mean, throw a couple more in there if I've missed them, and shareholders write in. Tell us who your hottest seat is you got right now, but I think the seats are starting to warm up. I think this is a middle of winter. You get into your car, you turn the heated seat on. You're about 5 minutes into your drive. It's starting to warm up.
The burners are being the burners are coming on for sure. You have on here loudest doink of all time. Was that in London?
I don't even remember the game now. It was a very short field goal just right off the uprights. I don't know if it was it wasn't the Patriots. I don't even know who it was at this point. It was the loudest. It was right off the right upright. Very loud. Camera right there.
Good.
Mic right there. Excuse me.
Yeah, good mic placement is what you're getting at. Yeah,
Yep.
we respect
Yeah.
we respect that. Good job.
Wish I had more.
Good job, production team. And then your boy. You want to talk about your boy Timmy Patrick?
Woo! We finally found the end zone and actually had a celebration that even I could recreate a little.
Shout out to the YouTube,
So
Spotify video.
good for Timmy to find the end zone again.
Yeah, long awaited. Good. Always good to see an X-line who left on good faith. Fine pay dirt like that. Pigskin spin picks. Let's talk about those.
Do you want to talk about them?
Oh, buddy, I embrace it. I go right into it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not scared. You think I'm scared sitting at 3-6? I'm a man. I'm not 40, but no, I'm not concerned. Are you asking me if I'm concerned?
I'm asking you if your seat's hot.
It's maybe lukewarm. I'm not proud of where I'm at, but I'm just gonna build on one win at a time. Take the Dan Campbell approach. I'm not gonna feel sorry for myself. Certainly, there's nothing in this wheel that I can control other than the picks that I make, and that's what I'm gonna do going forward. So that's what you're gonna get from me, folks. Is just solid picks after solid picks. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm not gonna underthink it. I'm just gonna go with my gut, and we trudge on. Andrew, you're 6-3 with a split this week. You took the Steelers, you got the W. Took the Saints, got the loss there. Mitch took the Colts, snuck one out there with a W, and then he's got the Bills here actively in Monday night, which is again still 21-7 in favor of the Falcons. Andrew, should we just the Bills are going to win that game though, right? So we should just give him the W, right? So he's 8-1.
Don't do that to him. How dare you, sir? Don't drag us down to your level.
Tommy, cut that. Tommy, I shouldn't do that to the man that is missing. That is unfair. You're right. Unfair and unjust.
Is that a movie title? The Man That Is Missing?
If it isn't, it is now.
Somebody call this guy.
Mufasa sits at 7-1 with one game pending here with the Bills and the Falcons. Papa B 6-3. And myself 3-6 after taking the double L. Almost had the Jets pull it out, and the Niners, well, they just stunk it up too. But I was put in the notes here. I've just picked the wrong New York team. Obviously, I meant the Giants were gonna win. I just got them flip flop. That's on me. But you know what's funny, Andrew? And I don't know if you caught this from the social clip. I didn't notice it live, but the wheel landed right in between Broncos, Jets, and Giants, Eagles. And honestly, if I would have got Giants Eagles, I would have taken the Eagles every single time. And so
I thought you were about to tell me you were going to pick the Giants, and I was going to.
Hell no. No, I would not revisionist history that. There was no bone in my body that would have picked the Giants in that one. No shot. But I felt like I was cooking with the Jets. I'm sorry. Say again.
Not even one bone.
Not a single bone.
Out of 206, not one bone. That's crazy.
Isn't it 208? Is it 218 or is it 206?
You should have let that ride like it was a fact.
Yeah, you're right. All right, cut that section. So anyway, we'll be back with the pigskin spin, everybody's favorite segment on this show. We'll see how we can incorporate Mitch into that. Obviously, he's on leave right now. He's on a hiatus, so we'll see if we can get him in remotely or maybe do it for him in some capacity. I'm not sure, but we'll continue this. This lives on. And we'll be back on Wednesday to preview all of that. We'll be back to talk Lions, Bucs, and then we'll have probably an update on injuries for both of these teams because, spoiler alert, injury report's going to look like a CVS receipt for both these teams. It's going to be long. It's going to be long, and we'll probably have an update on Brian Branch's status, not to be confused with Deion Branch.
Famously.
But thank you, shareholders. We know it was a tough day for you all out there, Lions Nation, pride of Lions Pride, whatever. We were saying we need a name for it. One Pride. Become a shareholder today if you aren't already. What the hell are you doing? Watch us on YouTube, as always, in a visual format. You can also watch us on Spotify video if you have that. Like, follow, and rate us on Apple and Spotify and YouTube. Subscribe there. Wherever there's a button to support us, we would greatly appreciate it. It really helps this show. It helps out what we're doing in our capacities here. So, also, one last thing. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Always see the social clips there in short form. That's it. We'll be back Wednesday. Let's go Lions. 4-2, but better for it. Week 7 is up next.
Yeah, this one's in the rearview mirror. Meow.